This tutorial is basically like the opposite of what curly girls usually tell you to do, is do the complete opposite. But wait, let me fluff out the hair first. Hello, hola, welcome back to my channel. I haven't done like a little get ready with me in a talking way in quite a while. I do a lot of these get ready with me's on my Instagram and here on the YouTube shorts, and I don't do them as often in a full-on video, just talking to you about life, connecting with you like this, like the OG days, because you know, Instagram and TikTok have just taken over everything. It's changed every platform. And I don't have TikTok. I kind of refuse to get TikTok. I'm not a fan of TikTok, but maybe I'm just hung up on the good old days like an old lady that I am. I'm obviously kidding, half kidding. And I do have very specific ways that I style my hair and do my makeup, so that's what we're gonna do today, while I talk you through it and chat with you about anything that comes to my mind as well. And this video is sponsored by CEREMONIA, which is one of my favorite curl or hair brands in general. They source ingredients from all over Latin America and the Caribbean. For those of you who aren't new here, you know they've been in so many of my videos, like I don't know, like 10 videos already. Their scent is so intoxicating, their ingredients are so hydrating and so good. I love that they focus on clean beauty and conscious beauty in general. But the bigger purpose of them being in this video is that they have a sale going on in Sephora right now. If you've never tried them yet, this is your chance to try it at a discounted price. If you already love them like I do, this is your chance to restock. So let's get to it. Let's do all of this. Before I get to my hair, I don't like to leave my skin dry, so I'm gonna go right in with my Grown Alchemist Instant Smoothing Serum. And I really like using this before applying my makeup. It feels like it's priming my skin, but also hydrating my skin at the same time and prepping for moisturizer. The moisturizer I'm gonna be using is the True Botanicals Chabula Extreme Cream. It's one of my favorite creams to use on my skin. I think I put too much on my finger, but we're just gonna go ahead and apply it because I don't wanna put it back in the jar. Before I blend that moisturizer in, I'm gonna take a little bit of also True Botanicals, their Resurrection Eye Cream, which is my favorite eye cream to use. I always rave about this eye cream, and there's nothing that hydrates my under eyes like this for as long as it does. It looks kind of crazy right now, but don't worry, it's gonna blend out nicely in a second. I'm just gonna leave that there because I put on too much of this cream actually. But the good thing is that I do focus more on skincare than I do makeup, and I'd rather my skin be very, very moisturized instead of very, very covered with makeup. And this cream is just really, really light, but also silky and hydrating. Now the eye cream, I'm just kind of tapping it in the way I would a concealer. That's gonna sit and absorb on my skin as I do my hair. One thing about me is I will not skip my skincare. All right, now for the hair. I actually did something a little bit different. I washed my hair last night with the CEREMONIA Papaya Scalp Scrub to give my scalp a really, really good cleanse. And then I left in the Mascarilla de Babasu by CEREMONIA in throughout the whole night. I basically put the mask in right out of the shower. Because I didn't want my hair to be drenched wet, I kind of like just allowed my hair to air dry a little bit with the mask on. So by the time I went to bed, my hair was just like damp. And it's not what I would typically do, but it's just what I did last night. So I rinsed it out just like 15 minutes ago and put my microfiber towel on to just soak up some of that water while I do my skincare and all of that. And I actually really like how soft and healthy my hair feels right now. And I actually also trimmed my ends. I did like a simple even cut because, as you may know, if you watched my previous 2023 curly hair routine, which also included CEREMONIA, in that video I explained how I am no longer going to be getting curly cuts. I'm aiming for just a straight one length type of hair from now on. My old layers that I used to have been growing out. They're still somewhat there, but they're longer now. The layers are longer, and I'm hoping that it catches up to the ends and just becomes all one length at some point. And hopefully it helps my hair continue to thrive now that I'm not dyeing it, I'm not processing it, and I'm dealing with hypothyroidism. I feel like sometimes in my, I've mentioned it a few times in the past, sometimes I make the mistake and say hyperthyroidism because it's like more natural for me to say, I don't know why, but it's actually hypothyroidism what I'm struggling with. And it's gotten better, but as you might know, it's a journey. And I'm just here like doing my hair. I didn't even explain to you what I'm doing. This is the CEREMONIA UV and Heat Protectant. It's called the Guava Rescue Spray. Even if I'm not using any diffusing or heat in my hair, I still like to use this, especially on my ends, which are the most fragile and the most prone to breakage for me. Like I said, with my hypothyroidism, what's being affected the most with my hair, it used to be the extreme fallout, but I basically got the fallout under control. And what's a bigger issue for me is the breakage, the easy breakage that happens in my hair, which is one of the reasons why I decided to stop coloring my hair, even though I went through the most healthy coloring process that I could have gone through. It's obviously better not to color your hair at all, so that's the choice I made because I'd rather my hair thrive. Along with having the delays that I would be having with the hypothyroidism, I really wanted to ensure that I'm not doing anything that makes it worse. I'm gonna take a little bit of water and apply it on my hair as well. And by the way, this is really good to restyle your hair throughout the week as well if you're into restyling. I know not everyone has to or likes to restyle. My hairstylist from Austin had a certain hair type that looked best with a lot of volume and a little frizz, because frizz isn't always a bad thing despite it always getting a bad rap. But my hair type is actually on the fine side, and it's a mix of a 3B and 3C curl pattern. I mostly have a 3B all over, but then the bottom of my hair has a 3C. So I have to style my hair in a very specific way because that 3C pattern that's in the bottom of my head, along with it being extra fine, is just a recipe for more breakage, more uneven looking hair. And that fine texture right here and 3C tends to shrink up a lot more than the rest of my hair. So it's really, really frustrating to get my hair to look even in the back. Even if it's cut evenly, it looks like really choppy. So that's why you'll see me dry and style my hair in a very specific way to address my own personal hair issue. Because of my hair type is another reason I really like lightweight moisture products. I feel like back in the day, I used to use like these heavy creams, and then I realized I didn't even know my exact hair type when I was using these creams. And while it did moisturize my hair did change over time with my hormones, the hypothyroidism, and the pregnancy. And I lost a lot of the density that I used to have in my hair, meaning the amount of hair that I used to have was way more before I had my second pregnancy. So I used to get away with using heavy creams and kind of weighing my hair down a little bit, and it still looked good for the type of hair I had back then. And now that I have less hair and the hypothyroidism with more breakage happening, I just noticed that my hair looks best with minimal amounts of products and lightweight products. That's one of the reasons I like the Pecky Curl Activator by CEREMONIA. It's super lightweight, it's more of a hydrator, it's not heavy at all. Let me show you how it looks when it comes out. It looks like this, kind of liquidy, kind of like a serum. And I like to apply it in sections so that all of my hair gets hydrated evenly and the product is distributed evenly. And another thing is I don't apply too much product near my scalp because I do need the volume, especially now that I'm not getting curly cuts. The curly cuts automatically gave me volume because it was layered, right? So now that I'm not getting layers and I'm just letting my hair be all one length, avoiding too much product on the scalp is best because it's the only way I can get that a little bit of volume on the scalp so that my hair doesn't go flat. So most of the product is focused from mid-head to ends where the moisture and the hydration is needed most. And by the way, CEREMONIA is having a sale right now in Sephora. So if you guys are interested in getting any of these products or restocking for yourself, definitely take advantage of that sale. And if you're gonna get something from the sale, I definitely recommend these two, the Papaya Scalp Scrub and the Deep Conditioner, the Mascarilla de Babasu. And if you're trying to minimize your styling products, then I suggest getting just these two, the Pecky Curl Activator and their styling gel, the Pecky Styling Gel. But for anyone with wavy hair or my hair type 3B, 3C, you could get away with just styling your hair with just those two. But then at the same time, I also recommend the Guava Rescue Spray, because it's gonna protect your hair. And I do diffuse my hair, and even though I use low heat, I still wanna protect my hair. It makes me feel better using a heat protectant. And now I'm just brush styling through my hair. I don't do it as precise as I used to back in the day. If you watched any of my videos before, I used to section my hair a lot, go through each and every section. Sometimes I still do that, but for the most part, this is what I do. I just keep it as is because as you'll see with my drying process, I separate everything later. And again, because I'm no longer getting curly cuts, my hair isn't as layered as it used to be. So I feel like that section thing was more noticeable and useful when I used to have the layers. And now that I don't really have my layers anymore, it's not a big deal to me. And at this point, I just take the Pecky Styling Gel and apply a good amount. And I kind of graze it a little bit on top. but don't push down a lot. And then I focus the rest of it towards the bottom. And if I need more gel, I will apply more gel. And I do the praying hands method, so this way the ends are being smoothed down. Some people like to scrunch their hair this way, but I find that with my hair type being so fine, this movement just makes the curls get more frizz, and it removes the shape, the nice shape of the curls. I'm gonna take a little bit more gel, so I have enough for the next side. But the one thing I don't do is rake the gel in. There we go, we got half done. Now I'm gonna do the exact same thing to the top, applying my Pecky Curl Activator, focusing mostly on the ends. And this section I like to bring forward like this for the more lengthened curl look for someone like me whose hair is. So let me explain. Basically, my hair is naturally very defined. Because I don't really care too much about definition, I actually flatten my hair out a little bit. And I really like it. I really like how it looks. And this is just something I discovered by mistake. I wasn't really planning it, but the way that I do that, I figured this out by mistake one day, just brushing my hair down, and I'm basically brushing the roots. And what's funny is that I still get volume. So as you can see, the roots are flattened. I'm gonna take the gel. This tutorial is basically like the opposite of what curly girls usually tell you to do. This whole thing is like, just do the complete opposite. So I take the gel and I graze it towards the top, and then I break it just once or twice, not a lot. And at this point, I bring it back. I don't really touch the scalp or do anything. And as I diffuse, the scalp just kind of moves around and falls into whatever place it falls in. Now it's time to diffuse my hair. This is where the magic happens for me, because I diffuse my hair in a very specific way, like I said, to my hair issue, to my hair type. But what I actually really like to do is focus on drying the bottom of my hair first, where I explained to you my hair texture down there is more prone to breakage because along with it being fine, it's also a 3C and shrinks up a lot more. So if I allow it to dry as it is without controlling that section, the hair shrinks up way too much and it looks like I chopped off a big piece of my hair in the back, and it ends up being very uneven looking. You can basically see that right now. If you focus on this section, you'll see that that's much curlier than this while it's wet. So this is why I dry my hair while holding this, stretching it out until I feel like it's 90% dry and 90% stretched. And I don't care to have a defined curl look in that back section. And for the rest of my hair, I just kind of diffuse it all crazily in all different directions. But what you won't see me doing is touching my hair while it's wet, while it's in the wet process. And the setting I use on my dryer is high fan, low heat. I always love using the cold air towards the end because since my hair is all warm and stuff, I don't want to flip my hair back down like this while my hair is still warm, because then it's gonna settle in that warm state and it might like flatten my hair a little bit. And that's basically how I style and diffuse my hair these days. And as you can see, I love when there's thunderstorm and it's raining. That's why it looks so dark in my house today. If you see this way, if you look at my bedroom over there, it's typically not that dark in the daytime, but today it's all about the darkness because it's been raining for a few days now, and I don't complain whenever it rains. It's the rainy season, I love it. But anyway, as you can see, my hair still has volume even though I haven't had a curly cut in over a year. But it also looks layered because of the way I dried my hair. I dried the bottom, lengthened so that my hair doesn't look like this when it's done drying. Now for my makeup, this is gonna be the most simplest but prettiest and most minimal makeup look, as it usually is. This is the Grown Alchemist Anti-Pollution Primer. It's so like sheer and clear, and it's a matte primer at that. You barely see that I'm putting anything on my face, but I am. It feels cold, it feels like a serum, but not liquidy. It feels more like a gel. And I focus on my T-zone. And I always like to start my makeup with my brows because I don't like applying anything on my brows while there's makeup on my face, like concealer and foundation and all of that. I like it to just be bare before I do anything on my brows. So I'm using my Undone pen and just fill in some of those gaps in my brows. I use this all the time, but it's really hard to do it while talking, and I will make so many mistakes if I try to talk while I do this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. Look at that. I just added a bunch of hairs over here, fake looking hairs, and look how thin that looks on the edges. So much better. It looks like I have a lot more hair there. This is my problem brow. The left one, problem brow. And you guys, I'm always getting asked like, hey, can you do a brow grooming video? And there's really not anything to groom. My brow hairs just don't really grow. So I'll grow like maybe 2 or 3, maybe 5 little hairs that come out from all the way down here. And I'll pluck those out, and that's about it. Now for my face, I like to keep things very light. So I'm just starting with the Kosas concealer. This is in the color 7.5. And I apply a little bit right here to lift my face a little bit. And this 7.5 shade is the exact shade of my face. But if I wanted to brighten the under eye, which sometimes I do, I go a little bit lighter, which is shade 7. Shade 7 is slightly lighter than shade 7.5. And I've recently been playing around with color correcting. So I'm using this red orange color corrector by Excel, which is a clean brand. I also use their yellow corrector to brighten certain areas of my face. Red orange basically cancels out any hyperpigmentation or darkness. And in my case, I have a few scars. So I'm going to take a little bit. You don't want to overdo it either with this, because it can change your concealer shade if you apply it wrong. So I apply a little bit in darker areas like the corners of my mouth, the scar I have right there on my chin, these little scars right here. And hopefully that just balances out the concealer that I will be applying on top of that. First off, I'm going to blend out my concealer with a different spun. I'm gonna tap this in a little bit. I know it looks crazy right now, but it should work. Okay, now I'm taking 7.5 again and putting it in these exact areas. And we're keeping things minimal. We're not applying a lot, just applying enough to blend. But because I'm doing so little, color correcting does help perfect things without having to add too much on or use foundation and powder and concealer and too many layers on top. So I just like to minimize it by only applying concealer, not foundation and concealer. And I think that worked really well. I'm gonna go straight in with my Westman Atelier. This is a contour stick in the color Truffle. And because this is a cream contour, I like to do this straight after doing the concealer because I'm gonna powder everything after. So I take a little bit on the sides. And my new thing that I love doing when I contour my nose is creating that circle button nose. So I just slightly make a line right here. Well, not slightly, but I just make a line. And the new thing I also like to do, which I used to never do, but I don't know, I'm into it now. I think when I was skinnier a few years back, I did not like doing this because having less weight on myself, my face being more on the bony side, I feel like contouring made my face look too harsh for my liking, and I do like a fuller, softer face. But now that I have so much meat and plump to my face, I don't mind a little contour on the cheeks and down here. And then with this one, I kind of blend, moving the sponge up. And I'm literally punching my face right now. For my nose, I start blending with this little tiny sponge blender by Eco Tools. Love it, love it. And now for the yellow corrector, also by Exa Beauty, and I take very, very little of this because it can be too much. It's very, very pigmented. And I take a little bit over here. I'm gonna take the very edge of my brush. This is where I use the contour. Then I'm gonna take the very edge of this one and blend by tapping. Okay, I'm gonna tap under my eye just real quick because I don't want that concealer to settle in any little lines. Oh, emergency alert. National Weather Service. Tornado warning in this area. Oof. Like I said, it's been raining a lot and it's been raining for days. I'm gonna take my Kosas Cloud Set in the shade Cushiony. This is to set under my eyes and set any oily areas. Love this powder. And I'm using the Ilia finishing powder brush. And this powder makes such a difference, especially combined with that concealer. I absolutely love it. Just poke myself in the eye again. Little powder on the forehead, powder on the sides of my nose, where we color corrected right here. So I got this little tip from Tenny Panosian, not get it from her directly, but she made a video on it. And she basically applied 2 different colors of her cream blush, the lighter one on top, the darker one on the bottom, and then took a brush, like a fluffy brush, to blend it out. And I did that yesterday, but that brush is dirty because I let my daughter play with it and put makeup on my face. So anyway, it's dirty, I can't use that one now. So I'm gonna try it with this Ilia flat. It's a fluffy brush, it's just short hair. And I'm gonna use one of my favorites. This is the Westman Atelier cream stick blush. This is in the color Petal. I'm gonna put it right here, kind of high. And this is very different from what Tani uses. Again, I like to focus on clean ingredients and things like that. So just using what I like. And then I'm gonna take this very bright, what is this called? Clean Sheen Cheek and Lip Color from a brand called Gen C or Gen Sec. I don't know what it says on here. It looks like it says Gen C, but this is in the color Dragon Fruit number 4. And it's like a bright pink, very pigmented, and I typically wear this. So I'm gonna take a dab of that and put it towards the bottom. And I'm not rubbing. As you see, I'm kind of just tapping it all in because this is cream and I don't wanna move product around and blend it all together. I just wanna tap that in and allow it to soak. And I hope you can see that slight blush. I really like this color. It's so pink and minimal and fresh. And now for my favorite highlight. This is the Ilia Starstruck Daylight Highlighting Powder. And again, I'm using a brush that I've never used to highlight before. This is the Ilia brush. I just took out all of my Ilia brushes and started using them. So I'm gonna see what this one's like for highlight. I think it's meant for concealer. And go on the very round tip. Not mad at this brush so far. Going on the high points of my nose. Gonna go under my brow bone. Tapered side, I'm gonna try to highlight the cheekbones. Ooh, that was a lot. Let's try to separate it on the other side. What was I saying? It's highlight. It's never a lot. It's the one thing I don't mind applying a lot of. Yesterday I used this same thing on my cheeks. This Gen C product in the shade Dragon Fruit on my lips, and I really liked it. It created a really nice pink tint. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. But then I put a brownish shade on top that you will see. And it looked really nice and matte and natural. Just the perfect shade that I always wear. Which one did I use yesterday? I can't remember which one I used yesterday. This is the Kier Weiss lip liner in the shade Saturate. And then I also have the Gabriel Cosmetics lip liner in the color Nutmeg, which looks like that. That's that second one right there. Pretty much look the same. I'm gonna go with the Gabriel Cosmetics one because it looks more matte. So I'm gonna just line the outline of my lips a little bit and overline a little bit as well. And then I'm gonna take this matte lipstick by 100% Pure. This is in the color Cacti. I have not used this in so long, but I remember this being my favorite shade of lipstick. I just revisited it again, and I'm gonna go very lightly with this. And the lipstick broke. Actually, it was already broken. Okay, just tap a little bit. For my lashes, I'm just gonna go in with the Ilia Limitless Mascara, which is a lengthening mascara. I've really been liking this mascara more these days. I usually use the Honest Beauty mascara because it gives me the most exaggerated look that I can get with a clean brand. I've been doing this thing lately where I only apply mascara towards the ends, and this Ilia mascara, it doesn't clump up in any way, and clumping isn't bad. But if I want the most natural lengthened look, I go for this one and focus on the edges, and I don't really put much on the inner portion. And I think it makes a big difference to just focus on the edges when you're not really wearing falsies or putting on a lot. And there we go. That's what we got going on today. This is it. This is my look for today. You might be asking yourself, where am I going? I'm just going food shopping at night. That's all. And it's raining. And to me, that's a fun time. No, but really, it's because my husband works a lot. I sometimes just want him to see me a little pretty, a little fixed up, to remind him that I'm not a bum all the time, you know? And I hope to see you in the next video, so please subscribe. It's right down here or here or here, somewhere. Just click my face so you don't miss the next video. I'll see you there. Bye, sunshines.